I thought it was going to be just such an epic fail, but I was just thinking YOLO. You only live once, right? So, you know what? I've got to record something. So, hello.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome everybody to a happy birthday.
Yes, very exciting.
To WinternetWeb. Why do I have a flip phone? Because WinternetWeb just turned 18.
18 years old.
So 18 years ago, this was our life. So we are going to talk some technology. We're going to talk about, WinternetWeb through the years, and then of course, kind of where we've been. What did we do?
The flip phone is kind of cool because really ever since then, you cannot hang up on somebody with any sense of like.
I know. I like the hang up.
Yeah, exactly. No.
The sound.
You feel like you're doing something. The whole pushing a button, but we got some other phones and things that we may bring out. But yeah, 18 years. Oh my gosh. I mean,
almost 2 decades of technological growth and just imagine what we started with. We barely had any screen. There is no internet connection.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a good time.
If you had to text, it was like,
you had to do the
click button.
Right.
So to do T would be click once on 8 and twice, on 4 for H, and then twice on 3 for E, make it B.
Yeah, and before that we had this, of course, which is the same typing, and this is really good for playing Snake. And
it's very good for playing Snake.
And that's about it. But then shortly after that, this certainly took the arena. You remember the BlackBerry? This is one of 3 I had in that era.
Very early years, having
full keyboard,
a little bit of internet access, so that was kind of cool.
You could check the weather.
You could check the weather.
Kind of see a website.
Look up a few birds.
Yeah, some birds, right? Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I understand that. But
so 18 years ago, 18 years of WinternetWeb service, 18 years of what have we done? What are we doing?
Right.
The place that we are actually in at the moment is our storefront for WinternetWeb, and it was actually also a storefront at the time. We had an antique store.
Yep, Bracy Mercantile.
And so
506.
18 years ago, Jason had the idea of we need to build a website.
Yep.
And, we were kind of like, oh, okay.
It's like, sure, go at it. And
sounds cool.
But
and he started building, and then all of a sudden, that's when it kind of hit, like,
right.
I think I need to keep doing this.
Well, part of the complexity of the website for Bracy Mercantile, and, things are so different at that time, that, so we had products here that, I think we sold a painting to someone in Chicago. We had to ship it there, which is really weird.
I sold a doll to somebody in Colorado.
Right. And eBay was around, but the web wasn't quite as congested, if you will.
No,
so
not by any means.
Creating a platform, we did have some people reach out, but I had to figure out how to create a database and have that database work on the web, which was a step up from just starting with HTML and everything. And this is actually the front cover of the book that I think kind of started it all. But yeah, part of the celebration and part of the stories.
Happy birthday.
Yay.
WinternetWeb.
So, websites in 2008,
mostly code.
Yeah.
In fact, all code.
Yeah,
it was
pretty much.
Just a blinking cursor and a lot of code.
You had some software programs back then, like, was it Microsoft Front Page, then Dreamweaver, but I started getting into all the code just for all that, I guess, the control of being able to tweak things and not rely on a software program. I could take a text file with me on a flash drive, continue it somewhere else. Just very rudimentary, but it was
all of the uploads had to happen at the local library.
Yep, that. McDonald's created a Wi-Fi.
Or McDonald's, yeah.
And because we didn't really have good internet. We started a web design business. We still had dial-up, and then with Altel, which we had at the time, we ended up with the MiFi, hotspot thing that would put in the window to get internet, and that worked until it didn't, and then it would work again. So that was that's technology, and that hasn't changed. But
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think a big part of this is we, yes, we're building websites, but we're building something that people need. And so you end up developing a level of trust. We're part of the community. We love the people we deal with, and they kind of, all right, fine, can you do this? And you start out with this, yeah, I can help you with that. And that was kind of the origins of it. You learn a lot by trying to figure out, okay, how is this website different? How are the needs of the website different? What do I need to learn to make this happen? So yeah, I mean, in the early days, I just can't imagine where we are now, mainly because how much the world has changed since then. You look back then, going from that flip phone to, the BlackBerry to the iPhone, and just, things just kind of, really evolved.
They really have. I mean, it's started with the early era of Taylor Swift, that kind of thing. We get into we didn't even have children, but we did watch WALL-E.
Yeah.
We always did like the cartoony stuff.
And that came out the same.
That came out the same year.
So yeah, wow.
So a lot has changed. If you look back to WALL-E, what we thought the future was going to be versus what it is, that kind of thing. And so we've evolved, and so much has just taken place.
Yeah.
Where the internet and the Internet of Things. Obviously, we've gone into AI, so an internet that's smarter than we are, or feels like it.
Connecting everything, whether you want it to or not.
Right,
Yeah.
and so it is something we've always tried to stay ahead of, and try to kind of help with. Small business is not able to just hire and have an entire tech department. So with small business, we try to kind of be the tech department for them.
Yep. Yeah, we got a lot of businesses that might, again, they can't staff somebody, but they still have needs. So, we can try to help out wherever we can in that. And by staying ahead of it, we've gone to many conferences.
We have.
And that was really your doing. I remember a couple conversations where I'll talk about the landscape of, gosh, this is happening. I don't know how to do this, and you're like, well, maybe you need to go to a conference. Maybe, and I'm like, really? I mean, so we
sent you on a plane all over the place.
Right. Well, we went together to the Event Apart conference, and that was in 2012.
We went to the Event Apart.
Jo Beth was born then. She was in a stroller, and that is when kind of like one of the first stable servers that I got involved with, because I remember they were a sponsor. It was Media Temple, and you've heard that name before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite a few times.
In fact, I just saw a photo earlier of the shirt that I got, then Jo Beth wearing it as a nightgown.
And now Sue.
Yeah, right. So, and then not long after that, I think you're pregnant with Sue. I went to the web conference in Penn State. Wrecked a car on the way there, but that's another story. Just ask me about it. It wasn't really my fault. I didn't hit nobody. It was just hydroplaned on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which that's what everyone does. But anyway, Adobe Max, that was an interesting conference. That was out in Vegas.
Adobe, that was in Vegas, right?
And then we went together again in Nashville for a WordPress conference. And
right before COVID hit, conferences kind of changed its course.
Yeah,
and so we had a couple of conference cancellations, but
we did.
By that point, it was starting to be something you could kind of access a little bit more without
True.
having to go and interact.
Right.
Even though conferences are amazing, I'm glad they're all coming back.
Yeah.
And that everything's kind of stabilizing. And I think that there's a lot of conferences where they go all Zoom still.
Right.
And admittedly, people who do conferences, it's a bit lackluster. I mean, you don't get to shake a hand, you don't get to see face to face. And so, every time I see a conference where it's like, oh, it's easy, it's all online, it's like,
no.
Well, y'all can enjoy that.
I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy the conversation with the random guy in the hallway, and you can connect a lot better. And there are conferences that are still a part of that, but I think the influencers on the web and the leadership of the knowledge has taken a digital behind the screen platform, and I mean they're good and bad with that. But so yeah, I mean we had to navigate and learn a lot of different things over the years. Just kind of going down memory lane here.
Yeah, I mean there was a couple of strenuous parts. Early creation of the business where you start having children and their babies and toddlers and that becomes difficult, and then of course we get into kind of stabilizing a little more, but then COVID happens, and so ends up a lot of people get very involved in technology at that time period, and then you kind of have to navigate with what do you do?
Right.
How do you still build something?
Right.
And so that was actually the time period where we were able to go a little more international. Some people were finding us from all over because they didn't have that choice. They didn't have that handshake. Right. And so we ended up with people from England and Jamaica, and boy, I wanted to visit her so bad.
Yeah, I wanted a business trip.
But we had several people that got in contact with us because it was people were getting a little more used to just being on the web and not actually being able to see people.
Right, and
and so
you
things
search
spread
to find
in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. The technology is growing so quick, and if you're trying to keep ahead of it, then your name is out there, and then other people randomly find you, as opposed to people locally really establishing themselves. But that was very odd when it's like, oh my gosh, you're from where? Jamaica,
Right.
So, but yeah, it.
And so a lot of that shifting from the early days of you had your career, and then at the same time you were doing some things for others, and then all of a sudden, especially during COVID, we all of a sudden shifted into we're doing this.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we're just gonna have to. We've got so many clients, we have to do this and jump in with both feet.
Right.
And so we kind of became like WinternetWeb is what we do. To WinternetWeb is who we are.
Right.
And this is this is the thing that we establish ourselves to be.
Right. Well, we talked about it earlier. We had kids, and the struggle of like you got a career, you got this and all that, but we named it the WinternetWeb Baby, and at the same time
it was the WinternetWeb Baby.
Because there are times where the business is crying because there's growth you're having to deal with, or
developmental
projects.
processes.
Exactly.
Just like a child.
Yeah, just like a child. It's like, hey, I'm over here, and you need to pay attention to me. And
which is why we're so excited. It's 18 now. It can almost do its own thing. No, not really.
It can.
You still have to guide an 18-year-old into adulthood, right?
Right. Oh gosh. But I mean, we've grown into a lot of different services. Of course, the web design, and now that we've gone full time almost 3 years ago, maybe something like that. And so having a storefront, we have found to be very helpful. I'm so glad to have my wife next to me doing the. I mean, the podcast is just a bonus with this because we're able to do things together. And that
we decided to say out loud, be who we are. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and look, you may.
Okay, I decided, and I forced him to do
it. But I just pushed the button. But so I mean, yes, there are podcasters out there that do this for a living. This is just something we do on top of this. this is as unscripted as kind of it can be, but you get us. And we always say when, with a website, with different things, you get us. We're kind of a big family, and we're not trying to be anything we're not. But again, with the storefront, we're able to host people in a different way. We sit down and talk to people about their web design needs.
Provide for people that just kind of have a
right.
My phone won't do this right question,
right. Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
Get someone to walk in, and
that's really helpful.
Sure.
The community has been able to just kind of walk in and say, okay, this is something I just don't know.
Right.
And so we've been able to support that, answer that,
right.
And
we enjoy that energy.
Kind of allow us to shift into the technology and say it's not as scary as you think. We got you.
Yeah. So it's kind of expanded into more than web design, even though web design is the biggest part of our experience, and just as far as those projects and everything, what we focus
fun.
on. It really
creation
is. Yep. It really is.
Putting forth somebody that is in a small business that really just doesn't know what they need to highlight yet.
Right.
And saying, oh, we have got to highlight this about you.
Right.
And they're going, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do, actually. That's the fun part.
And it's hard to market yourself. I know it's very hard for us to market ourselves. Yes. This is one part of that. But we can't deny that technology is really a part of every business and what they touch, from the tools they use, from the way you reach people.
You can't get a cup of coffee and a donut without technology.
I know, right? So, or an app, or download this. So it's ubiquitous. It is there, and that's why we had to expand so quickly and try to figure out, okay, it's all over the place. We need to figure out where are the snags, where are people having issues, and kind of be that human to guide you through. Okay, I get it. Let's try this. Let's do this. So there's no choice. We had to, but
we liked it to be that person. Let us help you.
Right. And I know some businesses and all that may have different tools and products. I'm not sure what does what, and we've come in and kind of, I guess I call it a technology audit, where you kind of look at, this is what you're using. This is what you can cancel today because this over here is doing that, and try to figure out what's working, how to make it work well. Maybe some other tools and tricks to allow you to do your business better. So, and again, it's just another example of the growth that we were kind of forced into over the years.
Yeah, we had to do it too. So.
Yeah, exactly. We had to navigate all of that as well. So, I guess, are we going back kind of through the timeline of 2008 until now?
Right. I mean, this is crazy. So, you think about. I don't know about everybody else, but you think back to the early 2000s and you feel like that was just
yesterday.
A few years ago, not that long ago,
sure.
And it's the fact that it was 20 years ago is just kind of like
that hurts, but
a little bit, a little
Right.
hard to take sometimes, but
sure.
It was in those early years. We were in college still turning in actual physical papers,
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of shifted very differently than a lot of, the later generations and everything. So, what we understand as technology coming in, again, even just thinking of our college experience where we're, physically doing our registration and physically putting in papers, and then within that college career we're starting to email instead and things like that. So we're maneuvering in this short time period.
Right. It's kind of like the big process, you understand how everything works, but then technology becomes a tool to make that more efficient. But you had to understand what you had to do first.
Right.
Now the tool seems
But that 4 years was like everything was starting to do this very quickly.
Yes, everything moved, certainly. So I mean,
and so when we started WinternetWeb and smartphones didn't exist, obviously.
Right.
We there's the idea of the BlackBerry, I think, but it's not necessarily big.
Yeah, the BlackBerry was coming along.
So again, we just kind of had the text that you had to pay for the text.
Oh yeah, was it 25? It was 25
It's
cents
like,
a text.
I only text a few things. I'm not.
And then I remember a friend was over there texting somebody, but they had a text plan. And of course now it's ubiquitous. And
She
I'm sitting
did,
there,
yeah.
And I'm sitting there going like, oh my gosh, it's like
She was
25
so
cents
good
a
at it.
pop. I'm like, wow. But then, you know, it's a lot of technologies start off, and actually AI I'm seeing doing the same thing, which is
And
going to be
social
interesting.
media was in its very, very infancy.
Oh yeah.
So only college students were really starting with Facebook.
With Facebook and MySpace.
After our college.
Just for that.
So they had started it, but after we had left college was when it was starting to get bigger.
Right. It wasn't on our campus. It was
not
like
on our
selected
campus.
nodes in the U.S.
And so then it's kind of, you know, I mean, we didn't get into Facebook until we were married in our 20s.
Until Farmville came out, and we had to download Facebook in order to play.
Oh.
You remember that?
That must have been your
Yeah.
MO for it.
Yep. Someone was like, "But you need this to access." Was it Zynga or some whatever, whoever makers of it? And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So I make a profile, and I'm like, "This is cute," but yeah.
Same friend, very ahead of her time, introduced us both to Facebook, and so we joined.
Right.
And you know, social media was just kind of really starting to come through the gate.
Right.
In your 08 and 2010 kind of time period. And then we kind of go into more 2010, 2015.
Right.
Social media is starting to really boom.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's getting on board. Businesses are getting on board.
How do I create a
that kind of
Facebook
thing.
page?
Yeah, how do I create a Facebook page? How do I keep my customers informed? That kind of thing. So the businesses started really popping into it. YouTube, of course, becomes a little bigger.
Right. We had
And the very, very early start of cloud storage. I remember that being kind of like, I don't know if I want my stuff up there in the ether.
Right. And of course, cloud is covering everything now, which is just a fancy, cute term for someone else's computer holding your data, which, you know, is, you would hope it's just as reliable as your own, but you know, it's becoming so stable and
we didn't
replication. But
really worry about that just yet.
No,
And then we start getting into, say, 2015 to 2020. So the pre-COVID era of everything's mobile.
Yeah, now it's a big
So
shift.
we get back, you know, we finally jump into these phones are doing a whole lot more than they used to do.
Right.
We don't need a text plan. We don't need all of these. And then everything can actually be found on mobile. And so that was when, you know, I started being a little more involved in WinternetWeb, where it was like, we've got to be a part of this. Mobile friendly is the answer here.
Right.
And so we absolutely had to make sure that our and that's when you went to the conference and got the concept of responsive design. So responsive is not just mobile friendly, it's everything friendly.
It's like the flux capacitor. It's what makes time travel possible.
Right. So every device you use, you're able to be responsive to.
And you can adjust,
That was very necessary at the time to go ahead and really understand how that works. And what we still do today is making sure that everything looks exact in all formats, not just one.
Right.
Because, you know, it's a little frustrating, even like some bigger sites that probably shouldn't are having struggles with mobile friendly still to this day. And it's like, I feel like you're too big to have this problem.
Right. I mean, and some sites, there was the mobile version versus the regular version. And then
there were two versions before responsive design,
bridge that gap with media queries, and I'm not getting into the jargon, but it does collapse data so that it becomes viewable through a smaller device.
Though responsive design is wonderful, you can't just let it go.
No.
You do have to actually fix things that are not responding in the way that you would prefer.
Oh yeah.
And so that's something we're pretty big on, is making sure that, and you know, knowing code, because everything was just a blinking cursor. That's helpful because
you can actually dig in and find.
You can change it and make sure that that's not
what isn't working and tweak it. Yeah.
Just responsive and you know, now it doesn't look good.
Right. Exactly.
And what kind of happened is apps became a little more popular. Everything was very dominated by apps because, again, something small like the phone, you want to be able to just click a button and utilize it.
Yep, interact there as opposed to finding your laptop.
Right. The only problem with a lot of that is it became a lot of empty apps. So then you have apps over apps over apps over apps, and they're hard to update and they're empty.
Yeah.
And so everybody kind of went in the app section of things, and then all of a sudden it was like maybe websites could still just be built well without needing to be done in this app format that's very stifling.
The app became a term.
So yeah, we've kind of shifted away from app over app over app, and we've kind of gone into more of website works.
Yeah.
And so getting it from the 2020s, what we've kind of gone into more is your website needs to work for you. So if your website works, then you don't have to worry about it. So a lot of what we do nowadays is, of course, your e-commerce, your booking sites, sites that allow for newsletters to throw themselves out there, forms, and your interactivity. So a lot of interactivity can be exposed on your sites. And so that gives the social media and the website kind of this back and forth with each other.
Right.
And then it kind of keeps it from being empty, but actually keeps it being active and reactive.
Sure.
And so that's pretty much where we are at the moment, is allowing your website to really work for you, work with you, answer the questions that you get a lot of phone calls from, and of course doing the work for some of it, so that when they call you, it is for something that is outside of the scope of the site, but the site itself is still working.
Right. Sure.
So that's kind of your today's site.
Right. Yeah. Because the website still is the center of the whole ecosystem. Yes, you have social media, you have all these other things, but people always, when they're about to make a decision, they tend to go to the website.
Right.
Then look at that, then figure out, okay.
And social media is amazing, but it's long in the tooth. It's you've put something back in 2022, and nobody sees it anymore.
No.
You're not going to scroll down.
No.
And websites nowadays are fluid. You just keep moving and keep touching it, keep being part of it, and it allows it to be just as fluid as your. Not as fluid as your social media, but something that's stagnant and fluid at the same time.
Yeah, website. A good website always does have edits and additions made to it, so it stays up to date. But the true core information, easy to find. Yes, exactly. Because if I go to a website, I have questions in mind. Do they do this? Do they do this? Do they do this? And what have you. So a good website will also have, maybe frequently asked questions built out so that you can kind of have additional information, that way. And from a business owner standpoint, it's helpful if that information's there, because they don't need to call me for that. And when they do call me, I know this is a customer that is informed, and then I can actually create that human connection, even stronger. So it's just, unfortunately, there are a lot of websites out there that don't think about the full scope of this. A lot of people, hey, I can make you a website. Well, a website is more than just information being thrown together. You need to think of it at a bigger level of how is this connecting with the individual, and what decisions are being made that will help that person find you. And that kind of gets into how search engines have changed too with AI.
Search engines have changed significantly with AI.
Right.
And so that AI is sniffing out a very different and very more broader picture.
Right. The user experience.
User experience is really everything when it comes to AI, and so that kind of bringing us into 2023 to 2026.
Yeah. Right.
Where we are.
18 years.
And so.
Yes.
We're very much in the AI world, and Never in a million years.
Right.
Certainly not in 18.
No.
Would we think that we were going to be at this place where this technology is just moving in the speed that it's doing?
About 3 years ago, it's like someone flipped a switch that I only read about in books, but it didn't progressively get there. It almost instantly got there.
Yeah.
It
was overnight.
I know. Not to say that it hasn't evolved, because it has, and I mean, there's in a lot of ways it's just getting better and better. But it's also gone from that thing your grandma was like, "What's this IA thing?" No, it's AI. To now grandma's using it, and that has happened overnight
right.
too. And it's like, well, AI told me this. So, but oh my gosh, I mean, from internet searches, we've gone from keyword stuffing where you put all the keywords to try to make sure your website is there at the top. So you might have it down 26 times at the bottom of the page and the same color as the background to be hidden. Google got over that. Google then got into, a more of a strategy in search terms and everything. Well, now AI, like you were saying, they're finding the human user experience. So they're looking at how you're browsing the page. You're looking at, you're navigating, you're hitting on things. You're stopping, you're pausing, you're reading. And from that, it's determining, hey, wait, this is a useful website. It doesn't matter what the keywords are.
We're at the place where the search engine knows if your customers like your site.
Exactly.
That's an odd place.
That is weird.
We've never been in there before, where the
thing?
search engine knows that the customer is spending time.
Right.
The search engine knows if the customer is actually getting a worthwhile experience,
Right.
which is kind of cool.
It is kind of
for
cool
web designers.
right.
That's like, wow, that's fun.
Well, because we've always prioritized the user experience and the
right.
design of it. We
way before AI had any idea that was a good idea.
I know, and I'm so happy that finally it's like, yes, because I mean, I'd be somewhere else and it'd be some other web designer.
Kind of a little validation for us.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, finally I can do what I'm doing and I'm actually getting rewarded now for it.
Right.
What? But I mean, some other web designers would be like, well, here's this keyword strategy and we do this and all this kind of stuff, and they sound like a car salesman, and I'm like, come on, this sounds almost, you're leveraging, I don't know, I hate to be mean, but you're leveraging something that you don't fully understand and how it works in the background, but you're selling these words to people to get them to go with you, and then sometimes they end up going with us, but AI, yes, and we can leverage code that works with ChatGPT, Claude, you name it, these other, Gemini, and we create this code for the website that speaks directly to AI. It's like handing them a folder of saying, here, you're looking for this, here's a business, here's their contact information, here's the social media, Facebook, what have you, that is also part of them. It validates it, it packages it, and hands it to them. Because when you ask AI a question, you expect to get an answer in 3 seconds. You can't expect AI to be able to search 8 websites and go through all the pages and then come up with like this systematic way of ranking them. If you can hand them that folder, then it's really telling them, hey, look, here's what you need to know. And it goes, this business over here checks out. This might be the one that you want to,
it's like
reach
AI
out to.
sitting there going, weird, that's my favorite.
I know, it's like, thank you. No, but I mean,
sometimes you have to know how to trick the computer.
Yeah, and it's just, but it's more of realizing how the tool and technology works, and then if you can make it faster and easier for them, then think of like in most careers, if you can do something and make it easier for your boss, and
right.
Wow, they love you,
right.
So it's the same thing. But the workflows change and everything. It's by the time you finish watching this, it's going to change again. But yeah, at 18 years, I would not imagine, in this industry, I say like, 18 years is like 100 years in some other industries.
It kind of feels like
the scope
it, yeah.
of the way it changes. Not that other industries haven't changed, but if they did change, more than likely it's because of the technology
right.
that was involved. But going from a blinking cursor and coding sites to, talk about, flip phones and, the good old BlackBerry, which gave a screen and even a rolly bar or whatever in order to, like a cursor.
Yeah, I remember.
But that was as things continued to
social media changing.
Yeah, social media coming on board and all that. All of this, different stages, the mobile shift, responsive design, now AI, and what's next?
What's next?
But
well,
Yeah, I mean,
super AI. It's gonna get
yeah,
even more.
and then we get into quantum, but yeah, we'll see. Oh my gosh. There are a lot of things we need to get right before we grow too quick. Man, but earlier we talked about AI, and you were talking about texting and 25 cents and all that for a text. And I, remember, getting the discs in the mail for AOL, and it's like 6 hours free. And it's like, oh wow,
yeah.
everything was timed, Well, AI, in a way, with a lot of these credits and the usability, as it runs, sends out with different APIs and different things, its use is being consumed for some of the higher level AI products. So you need to pay for more use. And I'm like, we just went full circle back to the AOL days.
We went back to AOL, yeah.
And to go on the internet, this is 6 hours, but you need to pay for more. So it's like, the product is put out there, people get interested. Now things are being honed in, because to be profitable, and it costs a lot to run these systems, you need to charge people for it. Are we going to get to a point where it becomes so ubiquitous, and maybe, are you going to have advertisements in the middle of your AI chat session? How are they going to make up for it to then make it available for all? I don't know, but that landscape, if you got any ideas out there or any speculation, let us know. But this is the same thing that, with every new technology,
the full circle.
The full circle. So we're now talking about that. So, but yeah. Wow. Well, that was an interesting 18 years. And
it's a very interesting 18 years.
We have our cake here, and our pistachio cake that I'm going to look forward to eating. I wish I could share it with you all. But this is our first special edition video podcast. Of course, it's available through our audio channels. If you're seeing a clip from this or whatever, then we plan to do others. May not go full video yet, but we do have plans to eventually get there, and of course, with support, that can happen sooner or later. So,
and happy 18 years.
Happy 18 years, huzzah! And
we got this.
Thank you so much. And this has been an incredible journey, and we could not have done it without just wonderful support. If you notice a blip in a cut in this transmission, it's because someone walked up on it, and I had to help her with her phone.
You still had to help me.
She barely got up the stairs, and I just had to do it. But
absolutely,
but that's why
we're here.
Exactly. So,
and why we're here is it's hard to trust that whole elusiveness. What's happening? Why is this changing so fast?
Right.
How do I wrap my head around it?
Gosh, it's scary.
And so we kind of feel like you still need people to trust.
Yeah.
You still need kind of that local place to go, this sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook. Do I trust it?
Yeah.
Or, I read this. Is this a big problem, or is this something that is, just kind of silly?
Yeah.
And, so we kind of get a lot of that. And yeah, we actually don't mind being the people that we'll research it for you.
Sure.
We'll, don't even click on anything, turn off your computer,
take a picture of it, text it to me.
It is, it's changing fast, and people don't change though. And so trust is still there.
Right.
Connection.
Yep, exactly. We're always stay connected. Yeah.
Always stay connected. Yeah. Our connection's still there, and so making sure that it's let's at least in Southside.
Yeah.
Seamlessly go through this.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. Technology's changed a lot in 18 years, but what won't change is our commitment to helping
our community
folks. Our community. Yeah.
We like when we talk to people.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
that won't change at all.
Won't change at all. No. So but just want to thank you all for your support. As always, hope this was a exciting treat for you.
It was for us.
We enjoyed setting it up, and we're like, we're going to decorate. So here we are. Again, you're getting us. This is who we are, and no apologies, but
raw footage.
We're raw. This is raw. Yeah, exactly. So your reviews and sharing of this with others would help us more than you know. Hopefully the message will get out there for those that need services. also important to us is helping those that don't understand technology, and we don't want them falling into traps. So, with all that said, I think we're going to say it here on video, but I'm plugging for now.
But always stay connected.